The 1st of February, 1904, a carriage left Vienna in absolute silence. No farewells, no fanfare, no crowds. Inside was a man who for 40 years had been the center of attention of one of the most powerful empires in the world, the most talked about, most feared, and most admired man in Viennese high society. And that night, he simply vanished. They did not execute him. They did not imprison him. They did something worse. They erased him. His name was the Archduke of Austria, brother of Emperor Franz Joseph I, the man who built the most dazzling palace in Vienna, who filled its halls with art, champagne, and scandal, and who for decades defied every unwritten rule of the Habsburg Empire. Nicknamed Loosey Woozy by the court, that name sounded playful, but it hid something far darker. The contempt of a family that smiled in public while planning his elimination in private. Because the Archduke had a secret, everyone knew it. No one said it. And when that secret was finally used against him, there was no trial, no defense. Only the sound of carriage wheels disappearing into the night. To understand how far he fell, you first need to understand how high he rose. He was born in 1842 as the youngest son of the imperial family. His older brothers, Franz Joseph and Maximilian, were raised to govern empires and command armies. He was raised among women, music, and theatrical costumes. And he loved it. From childhood, he was his mother's favorite, the powerful Archduchess Sophie, who dressed him for court performances and filled him with attention. While his brothers learned to command, he learned something far more dangerous: to seduce. Not with his body, with words, with that laugh that could light up an entire room, with that wit capable of making a duke feel like the most interesting man in the world, or the most ridiculous. On paper, he was also a military man, titular head of regiments, general of infantry, all very impressive. In practice, his officers whispered that during exercises his mind wandered, lost in thoughts of music. The army was not for him, and everyone knew it. So his brother, the emperor, made a decision. He sent him to Salzburg, imperial representative, a respectable title, a first exile disguised as honor. But when he returned to Vienna, he turned his defeat into spectacle. In 1863, he commissioned the most ostentatious palace on Schwarzenbergplatz, designed by the same architect who built the University of Vienna. Marble, mirrors, crystal chandeliers, a ballroom that made the floor tremble. Every night was opening night. Artists, diplomats, poets, actors, even the emperor himself and Empress Sisi appeared from time to time, equally amused and uncomfortable before what their younger brother had created. He collected art obsessively. He posed for photographs in theatrical costumes. In one famous image, he appears dressed as a woman, bouquet in hand, with a smile that seemed to tell the entire world, "I know exactly what you are thinking, and I do not care." Because behind the spectacle lay a reality that 19th century Vienna could not name out loud. The Archduke was attracted to men, in an era when that was forbidden by law, condemned by the church, and silenced by the court. In the Habsburg Palace, everyone knew. No one said a word. The Emperor Franz Joseph himself, it is said, once joked that his brother should have a ballerina assigned as his assistant so that nothing scandalous could occur. A cruel joke. The kind of affection that pretends not to see what it cannot accept. For years, a discreet chief of staff managed the threats in silence. Payments, agreements, rumors extinguished before they could burn. But in 1899, that man was replaced, and with him disappeared the Archduke's last shield. By then, the Archduke had also made powerful enemies. Empress Sisi, who had once been his friend, despised him. He had spread rumors about her, gossip about her vanity, her temperament, her obsession with her appearance. Sisi responded in verse, "A monkey in a weak body, whose trade is slander." And there was something worse. It was rumored that it was he who revealed the secret romance of Princess Louise of Belgium with an officer of low standing. The scandal that followed ended with Louise locked in a sanatorium. declared insane by political convenience. No one could prove it, but the suspicion was enough. His nephew, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, also despised him. The Archduke had openly mocked his marriage to Sophie Chotek, a countess considered inferior for the imperial family. Franz Ferdinand did not forget the insult, and when his moment of revenge arrived, he seized it. 1904, the Archduke is 62 years old. An ordinary afternoon, a luxurious bathhouse in the heart of Vienna called the Kaiserbründel. Marble arches, steaming pools, the favorite meeting place of high society gentlemen, and also, discreetly, a known gathering point for those who sought the kind of company Vienna would never acknowledge in public. What happened there that afternoon has different versions, but the core is always the same. It was said that the Archduke approached a man, and that man responded with a slap. In Vienna, a slap was not just a blow, it was a declaration, a public humiliation that no one, not even the emperor's brother, could ignore. The rumor spread within days. The salons burned, the servants talked, and those who had waited years for his fall made sure the story reached the right ears. Some said it was a trap, that Franz Ferdinand and his allies had set it with surgical precision. The truth was never known. What was known was the consequence. Emperor Franz Joseph could not allow the scandal. The newspapers published nothing. The court called it retirement for health reasons, a journey to the fresh air of Salzburg, an elegant lie for a brutal sentence. The 1st of February, 1904, the Archduke climbed into that carriage and never returned. His palace on Schwarzenbergplatz, his crystal chandeliers, his opening nights, all left behind. What awaited him on the other side was Schloss Klesheim, a palace he had once filled with music. Now it was his cage. He refused to appear defeated. He continued dressing with impeccable elegance. He rode through Salzburg in his carriage, greeting politely those who watched him pass as a curiosity, the fallen prince who still walked with dignity. But the letters from Vienna stopped arriving. The invitations to family events, too. He was tolerated, not forgiven. With the years, something inside him began to go dark. By 1910, those who visited him noticed changes. He lost the thread of conversations. He forgot faces. He oscillated between flashes of his old wit and long silences that no one knew how to fill. In 1915, the deterioration could no longer be ignored. The emperor ordered that his younger brother be placed under legal guardianship. They confined him to 3 rooms, the windows barred, the doors locked. Meals arrived on silver trays. His clothing remained perfectly pressed. And in the palace that once resonated with laughter, only the slow ticking of a clock could be heard. Franz Joseph died in 1916. The Habsburg Empire collapsed in 1918. The monarchy that had built its power on silence and appearances vanished within months. And the Archduke, the secret no one wanted to name, outlived them all. In January of 1919, he died at 76 years of age. There was no imperial procession, no fanfare. He was discreetly buried in a small cemetery beside a parish church near Salzburg. Only the cold winter air and the sound of earth falling softly over the coffin of the man Vienna had decided to erase. The scandal that destroyed his name dissolved into history. The empire that silenced him disappeared forever, and the man they called Loosey Woosey outlived them all.